It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, welcome everyone to the Hazleton Area School District Report, bringing you up to date with what's going on in the district. Major investment in our community. You just got your bills in the mail, your taxes in the mail, and so you look at those numbers and say, what am I getting for this? What am I getting for this? Particularly seniors. Well, through these shows, we hope to inform you and know that there is a return on investment here, okay? And we've been really blessed to have the teachers and the aides that we have and the administrators. And I'm not just saying that in the state of Pennsylvania. Of course, joining me is our superintendent, Brian Uplinger. Doctor, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
You said the summer's going too fast.
It's going very fast.
Can't you, can't you slow it up a little bit?
No, that direct line stopped.
Did it? Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. You know, you turn around and, you know, it was just May 30th, May
right.
30th.
We just had graduation.
Then, July 4th comes, you're happy and you're sad.
Right.
Because, you know, it's like, it's half over, you know.
Right. And we looked at the corn to make sure it was knee high.
Yeah, right, yeah. Before we get into some of the questions that I get, the Department of Education is going through some changes throughout the country, all right? How involved is the Department of Education with the Hazleton Area School District?
The federal department, not a lot. They send the policy, if you will, to the local chapter, if you will, the Pennsylvania Department of Education. That's who we have a more closely knit relationship with, is the department in Pennsylvania. They push out the policy. They assist us with certifications for teachers. They answer questions, and you know, try to help
policies.
They do.
Okay.
They set
right.
policies.
So who are the people that develop these policies?
There are elected folks. There are appointed folks, like the Secretary of Ed is newly appointed, Dr. Rowe. Fantastic person. She's been in education for over 25 years, probably close to 30. She does a very good job in the position. She was appointed. She gets appointed by the governor, and it depends on if he stays in office, if she stays. There's a lot of give and take for, you know, that position could be very fluid at times. We've had some good secretaries of ed, and we've had some bad.
Yeah.
You know, we just take what we get.
I personally did not understand the full scope, and I'm sure a lot of people don't understand the full scope. But one thing that hit me the most was when one of the congressmen was questioning and said that, you know, when they look at the terrible results we've had in this country with education, you know, and math and et cetera, you know, and how, you know, even though we're spending more and we're not getting anywhere near that in education. I look at the Hazleton Area School District, and I don't want people to take the Hazleton Area School District and throw them into that lump and saying we're not doing, because I think we're one of the exceptions in the country where we've done so well. Am I correct in saying that?
We're doing really well. Scores, and I think I've talked about this before, scores on an assessment aren't the only way that we assess a child. And the PSSAs, or the keystones, that's only one snapshot in time of a student's ability to answer questions, and some people get hung up on those scores. They're not the only way that we assess. Like I just said. One thing to keep in mind too is, you know, that there are different countries that only educate those that are not special needs students. We educate everyone, pre-K, 21, through college, what have you. The United States educates every single person until they no longer they age out of education, or they drop out, or whatever. But other countries don't always educate every single child. And that may be why their scores, you know, are better.
Very good point.
Yeah.
But here's the that's an excellent point. Because it matters when you look at it in total, so, oh my God, we're that bad. But in some cases, they're pushing, one of the things is that you're pushing these students through. and instead of them learning grade 6, 7, 8, 9, or whatever, they just want to keep pushing them through, okay? And that the teachers really don't care. This is coming from the congressperson who was questioning, I forget who it was, maybe the new appointee that President Trump has put in.
Mrs. McMahon.
Yeah, the new person, okay. Yeah. And so it was a matter of, boy, we're spending billions of dollars here and we're getting nothing in return, and that's why they're making the changes, according to what was described at that hearing, okay? And I don't, so what would be the process in our district? If a student's not doing that well, failing their test, do we move them into grade 10, 11, or 12?
No,
How does that?
No. If they're not cutting it and they're not passing, we'll from 9 through 12, grades 9 through 12, they have a certain amount of credits they have to accumulate before they can graduate. The least amount they can accumulate to graduate is 28 credits. Prior to me, it was 26. I changed that, upped it a little more rigor and relevance for the students that are with us. The highest number that they could earn is 32. So all of the dual enrollment programs that we have across the district allows them to gain additional credits up to 32. So those students that may be failing, we provide remediation. We provide tutoring services. We provide after-school help, online help. We have different programs in the summer that we run that are credit recovery through our Cyber Academy. So there are different opportunities for those students to catch up, to catch on, and to move on. I always say to our seniors when I talk to them is that we love you very much, but we want you out of here, and we want you out of here on time, because we have other students that are coming in, a lot of them. So we need to make sure that they're doing what they can, and we're doing what we can to be able to move them on.
Brian, like any corporation or any company, you have divisions, okay? And you have a CEO, all right? And that CEO has to be intelligent enough to bring all these divisions together to see what's going on in divisions. Sometimes you hear, without knowing facts, and that's the sad part, people who do not understand the facts, because if I look at my school bill and say, oh my God, what am I getting for this? I started to show off with that. But the questions you have is, why do they need so many assistant superintendents, okay? What you just mentioned, there are so many avenues and divisions that have to be attended to correctly.
Right.
And that's why we have these, and we happen to be blessed with great administrators.
We are.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying that,
Right.
okay? And I think once you understand the concept of what the school district's all about, and that's why it's so important that the direction that you get from the board, you have a board that understands what's going on. All right. That's critical, okay?
Correct.
And we're
Yes.
coming to election, and I'm hoping that people look at everyone who's on that board and what are they doing? So in having these people, how important is that to the structure of the school district?
Very important to have a cohesive board, a cohesive administration, cohesive teaching group, our paraprofessionals. To have a district-wide cohesiveness is incredibly important, and it bases the foundation for our students. That it's the base, I should say, for the foundation of our students. If we're not together, if we're not working together, that'll crumble, and the student isn't going to get what he or she needs to be successful once they leave us. So, but having that understanding at the board level, having the ability as an administrator and having an administrative team that knows exactly what those children need, and having teachers that are able to implement what exactly those students need, and having our paras in place that know exactly what those students need. It's like a fine-oiled machine that keeps running and gives those students what they deserve, a great education.
Looking at the development of the different programs, we have a joint venture recently announced between LCCC, Hazleton Area School District, and the Commonwealth, right? Correct,
yes.
Explain what that is then.
Very proud of that partnership. I don't believe there's anyone like that, any other program like that in the Commonwealth. So what we do is work very closely with LCC the Commonwealth University, a graduate from Hazleton area, can go into the program at LCC, acquire their associate degree in whatever area. They move on to the Commonwealth University and get their bachelor's degree in teaching. Again, in whatever subject area. It could be elementary, secondary, could be a math, a science, a social studies. Then, once they get that, they come back to us in the district and do their student teaching. There are programs out there that the state has just implemented to allow student teachers to be paid. It doesn't come from the district, it comes from the state. So we're a pass-through. We get the money,
I think that's
and we
great.
pass it right back to the student. We don't keep a dime. It goes right back to that student teacher when they're in our classrooms. And those students that have left us and are coming back through this program already know what the district is about. They already know what the classrooms are like. They already know the students that we have. So it would be really great for those students to stay with us then. We always have openings for staff members. We always have faculty openings. So once they get through that process and graduate, more than likely we will hire them.
How many years you've been superintendent?
I'm going on my 9th year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go back 9 years, okay, and you look at the years of progress, I would say, and how things have grown, okay, and you look at, when you look at, as we look at performance, why do we do so good this month in sales? And this month we didn't do as good, and this month, and so you go back and see the good month, and you realize what you've done. And what I look at, as a former chairman of a board of trustees and saw the nonsense and the political bull, we try to erase all that crap. When we as trustees start getting interfering, we didn't, but the previous board did, we cleaned up all that nonsense.
Right.
So when I look at the school district and I look at the progress, and the people you've surrounded yourself with, and I mean that, the teachers are second to none, and the aides, I mean, everyone who's involved, they're just doing a great job. When you look at that, then you look at the board, and you look at all the successes, saying, well, wait a minute, this board was here, and look at how we've grown. That's why it's critical to put board members in there who know what's going on without their own personal agendas.
Yes.
And that scares me, Brian. It scares me because sometimes you may have a person running for school board and vote for him, he's a nice guy. Vote for her, she's a beautiful person. And that means nothing when it comes to when I'm paying my tax bill.
Right.
I don't want to lecture here, but I mean, that's important. And I want to get your feedback on that.
I completely agree. And having the boards that have been in place since I've been here they've been wonderful. They understand the process. They understand what it is to educate a child. They allow me to do my job.
Period.
And
Yeah.
they are very supportive of the direction that I've taken the district, and certainly have done wonderful things and have allowed me to do some wonderful things across the district. And I have some other things up my sleeve yet till I'm ready to retire a few years down the road. We'll see when that is. But they have been a great group of individuals.
You know what I like about you, Brian? You are a person that speaks what it is. You're not controlled by, you're not a puppet.
No.
You know, you express your viewpoints in a professional manner, and I've seen the growth, and even with these shows, you're there, every question, you're not afraid to answer any question, and I admire that in anyone who's leading the pack. Okay,
Thank
folks, I'm talking to Dr. Brian Uplinger. It's the Hazleton Area School District Report. Now, I have my email up for questions, and I get a few. But I get a lot of people who see me and say, Sam, ask him this, ask him that. And maybe you don't have a computer, but I really appreciate if you would email me that. And in fact, I'm going to have my son put a phone number up for you. Is that okay, boss? I could put a phone, I have to check with the boss here. We'll put the phone number up and call that number and ask questions or make a comment. I'd be more than happy to discuss it. We do the show, we tape the show once a month. And we're seen all over the place. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Hazelton Area School District Report. I'm Sam Lesante. Joining me on the show is Dr. Brian Uplinger, Superintendent. If you just tuned in, I highly recommend that you watch the show. Interesting discussion, the first part of the show. Now we're going to come into some details. Okay, how are we doing enrollment coming up for September?
Ooh, we're we're bursting at the seams.
You have about 600 people, 800 people?
Yeah, no, we're pushing probably 13.8 right now.
You're kidding me.
No, we're very, very far ahead, if you will.
13,800.
Roughly, yes, and it could be by the time I leave here and go back, we might be at 14,000. I don't know. Again, I've said this many times. It doesn't matter to me who come. We'll educate them to the best of our ability and the best of their ability. We just don't have space. We'll figure it out. We've always done that. We've renovated pools. We've renovated our libraries. We've added spaces here and there. But yes, they're coming, and they're not stopping. Our kindergarten enrollment is pushing about 800 right now, and again, we're early. This is just the end of July, but we won't see a larger influx until maybe mid-August. So I'm kind of worried about that with the number of kindergartners that we already have. So it's really important for folks to know that earlier that you register, the better it is. So then we get a better idea of how many kiddos are coming and how we can accommodate them. But yeah, the enrollment is growing. When I started, it was 11.5.
In terms of space, now up here at the Laurel Mall, you made a great move with the cybercat, and
Yes.
there's additional maybe areas that you may be looking
Possibly,
at.
yes. Yeah.
And because you need it.
Right. we
Okay.
do.
And I think you mentioned by moving here, you're saving millions of dollars in terms
We
of
are.
construction.
Right, we are.
But speaking of construction, where are we with the current building situation?
So the board voted at the last meeting to start the process for developing plans to build a new building. That building will be located behind the high school. Kindergarten from the campus area will go to the Early Learning Center, Hazel Township Early Learning Center. That will become a kindergarten center, as well as our newcomers are in that building.
Is that in the process of being done?
That's already done. So once the new building comes on,
Did they start
then-
construction?
No, not yet. So the construction we probably won't be able to put a shovel in the ground for about a year yet. It'll be, because of the design phase takes such a long period of time, and getting permits and things like that. A lot of red tape that we have to go through to erect a building. So again, we'll be already behind the 8 ball
Wow,
when
big
it
time.
comes 2029 when the building's done. There's some other things that we're working on now too, a couple renovations to a few of the buildings to add a little bit of space. To Freeland, the board approved the adding an addition for the administrative and making in lack of a better term, administrative suite. That opens up some classrooms within the building if we move the administrators into a different section of the building. And possibly some other plans to other additions on
This is
existing
Freeland
buildings.
now.
This is Freeland.
What if you would take your administrative offices now and let's say move them to another location, not knowing where at this, but how many students could you facilitate in that administration building?
You'd be surprised, not a lot.
Yeah.
The building is fairly large, but the size of classrooms have to be within a certain amount. So you're talking 850 to 900 square feet, give or take. So we'd probably only be able to get about 8 classrooms out of the administrative building that's connected to the Career Center. And we've talked about that many times. We've actually had an architect draw up some plans on what that may look like if we were to vacate that building and to add space there. I'm okay going anywhere. Administrators can go anywhere just because we're mobile anyway. We go wherever, and we're always in buildings. We're always mobile.
So that would be a logical move.
Not necessarily. It may cost more than what it really affects.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. Yeah. Because when you look at the building, but you don't realize the details inside.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Correct.
In putting together, then, if you take, you have to look at areas where you can take, like you said, administrative offices and increase, Other than Freeland, where are you in need? Serious need.
Really in the city. There are a lot of the folks that are moving in, they're moving into the city, not necessarily to Drums or Valley or really Freeland. But those, because of the number of students that are coming in, we have to have the ability to boundary accept students from one building to another. We'll say if Heights Terrace kindergarten is closed and we have too many students there, there might be some availability at Valley in one of the kindergarten classes, so we will transport the student that should be at Heights Terrace to Valley until their seat opens up at Heights Terrace, and then we'll bring them back. We've done that for forever, and we'll continue to do that. It's not the most ideal situation for a student, especially a kindergartner. They get used to one building and then they get moved back. However, we want to make sure that we're maintaining those seats availabilities across the district.
So how do you make do? I mean, with all the over 13,000 students. I mean,
Right.
we were talking a couple of years ago, we were at 10, 11,000. Now we're
Right.
up to 13. How do you make do and make sure that they're going to get the proper education without throwing them into a stuffed room?
Right. So we've put a lot of things on carts. Music, art. We're looking at the possibility of bringing back the bookmobile. I know that sounds kind of crazy.
No, I was
but
mentioning
utilizing
yes.
a bookmobile to use for library services rather than a library. And the library becomes then a full classroom until this new building is built, and then we can shuffle a little bit and gain a little bit of space. But it's a serious discussion, and I know some people may be laughing and going, oh, a bookmobile. It's a need. And,
It worked before.
It did work before.
It worked before, okay, and it certainly could work again. But, it's the fact that when you look at, well, we're just going to become cattle, and everyone, we definitely want them to get the proper education,
Right.
okay?
Right.
And that's where the key is, that's where it comes from smart administrators.
Yes.
Okay, and people know how to do that and brainstorming in a good manner. I can't stress enough, Brian. I know I sound like a broken record, but the point is, I can't stress enough to our viewers how very important it is that the people who are controlling an organization is important. We are seeing in the country, you're seeing what's happened when you had people who just did it for themselves and what's happening now, which is sad, but however, thank God to be able to correct these things. It's important that you have the direction. Where do you see this year going so far?
I'm excited. I'm excited for this year. I'm excited to and some people will go, oh my gosh, it's really early in the summer, but I'm excited to get the kiddos back and to start moving forward again. We have a lot of things planned. And like I said earlier, I have a couple things up my sleeve that I'm working on that might take a little bit of time, but we'll get those in place.
What do you need? Do you need transportation people? Do you need what do you need?
Right now, we're pretty good staff-wise. We're just for those that may be educators out there that want to work with us or for us. Always watch our website. We post everything every available job is on our website. There are some positions that we have now that for full-time secretaries and paraprofessionals and things of that nature are available on our website.
So there are some openings. You always
Yes,
have this.
we
You
always
mentioned
do.
about student teachers. You're still doing a lot of student teaching.
We are. We're since I came to the district and Dr. Patty, the assistant of the superintendent for curriculum instruction and assessment, have come. We've built that program up. We've built the ability to bring in those student teachers from our universities on the outside. Prior to us, we maybe had 5 or 6 that would come in a year. We have like 25, 30. We're hoping that they just keep coming to us.
Well, I would like to do one show, if we could, where you have your key people with you.
Sure.
But I would like the public to know just exactly what they do.
Yes.
Okay, the divisions, so they know why there is an assistant to this, assistant superintendent for this, and a and once they begin, I want to educate the public to
Right.
know this is what they're all about. It's not about just putting people in
Right,
positions
no.
and wasting money, okay? Because you see it internally. My friends, now we got the phone numbers up there to call me with any questions you may have on any one of our shows. 570-455-7267. And that spells 455-SAMS. So you can give that number a call, as well as my email, sam@ssptv.com. We'll see you next time.